Hey, it's Zakiya Larry Live, and we are on site in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the world premiere of the feature film Beautifully Broken.
You're watching
Zakiya Larry
Live.
If you want to do it right, you can do it right now. You can change your life. If you want to do it right, you can do it right now. Come on and change your life. Zakiya Larry live in the building.
We are on site in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, what's going on? Today, you're going to hear from the celebrities, but also the real-life people who made up this story. This story is not just about tragedy, not just about triumph, but the blending of cultures, nations, continents, and it even hits on some hot topics that are shaking America right now. You have got to stay tuned for all things red carpet, fabulous, and beautifully broken.
My name is Benjamin Onyango, and in this movie I play William Wizera, a real person.
A real person. Tell me a little bit about how you channeled this, how you channeled William, because this is a very heavy story.
Yes, William is a very humble person, and when I first met him I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna play him. Oh, by the way, he's right here, he's right here, William, So it was, when I spoke to him and he was talking in this humble, way, and I was like, wow. Naturally, I'm just a goofy guy. I make a lot of noise. I laugh. I make people laugh and all that kind of stuff. And then there's this man who's facing me, who is so humble, who doesn't. It's like we are not the same at all. So it was a challenge to try to be him. And I think after speaking to him a few times, I think I pulled it off.
Absolutely.
Yes.
William, thank you for joining us. Now, your story is amazing. How does it feel to know someone else is playing you?
as there are many things, we don't have the same talents and the same gifts. So he has that gift and he understands well what we went through. So he can play me because of what God gave him. So.
Does it get emotional to see your own story on the big screen with so many people watching? Is that difficult?
Yeah, it's emotional, but on the other side is a hope. Probably the healing I get, somebody can get it too. It's not the end of the life. They can learn, they can feel themselves in the same body I went through.
Wow. So hope is the takeaway here, obviously, for William. What else? What are some other takeaways?
Love, redemption. It was a story that had all these, ingredients of great stuff all rolled up into one. Yeah, it was amazing. And there's a part in the story that touches me every single time I see it, and it's in one of the trailers where he has just built up this legacy mission village, which actually he's doing that. He's a person who was a refugee and decides to also build a place for other refugees who are coming in the United States and going through a hard time. He's doing that. So there's a part in the story where he meets this guy, a homeless guy in the streets, and he takes off his jacket and he covers him. That part, even as I played it, I felt such, I don't know, I was very emotional, even as I was walking away. So that's the man we're talking about. A very humble guy, very giving person, a loving person, and it was an honor to play him.
Amazing. Thank you, gentlemen, both so much. Thank you for your story. Thank you for bringing it to light.
Thank you so much.
Eva, it is a very big night for you, my friend. Talk to us about what's happening.
Well, the movie's coming out, and we're just so excited to, first of all, have all the cast together. It's been a while. Movies take a while to come out. And also, this is my first time meeting Abra Lee. I had never met her before. So I hope that she likes the movie and I did her justice. She came on set, but I wasn't on set that day. And I was like, thank God, because I just didn't want to meet her before. I was like,
You're ready.
Yeah, I was just like, I just want to imagine what she went through rather than try to copy her behavior or something like that. So I just wanted the essence of that, just from what I read from the script, as well as watching a little bit of the documentary, but I just didn't want to meet her. And perfectly enough, it just worked out that they were there when I wasn't there and all that. And yeah, I hope she likes it.
So let's go a little deeper into that. I know you did research, you read the script to really embody this real person, this real life story. One, talk to me a little bit about, was the intimidation factor high? But two, what else did you do to prepare? I mean, was there anything outside of reading that you did to sort of channel her?
Imagination is a great thing to have, I have to say. And it's just a human story, so you just have to kind of make it as human as possible. Also, I grew up in Kenya, and I kind of understand a little bit of the culture there, so it was easy to kind of blend those two together and just follow what was in the script. And I had an amazing director who was easy to get you there emotionally, and I had a great co-stars, and it just worked out. Yeah.
Amazing. Eva, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations.
Thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much. You look beautiful too. I love her. Oh my God. Michelle Duffy.
Yes.
Tonight is a big night for you. It's your night.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what you're feeling.
I'm excited. What we've been working on for the past 2 years is a movie that will bring awareness to immigrants and refugees and people who are in distress that need our help. So I'm excited to bring light to this very important situation that's happening all over the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In some kind of way, this is embedded in a really feel-good story, Michelle. That's some heavy lifting. How did you balance the levity and gravity of what is your film that you produced, Beautifully Broken?
Yeah. Well, the balance, I think, came from our director, Eric Welch, who is brilliant with editing and bringing storylines to the forefront and bringing the message to the forefront that needs to come across to the audience. So that was the balance. I mean, as marketing, of course, we're looking for the messages that will impact the consumer the best. And so that's been my role. Like, yes.
And you've been phenomenal at it.
Thank you.
Michelle, thank you so much and congratulations. Have a great night.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Chuck, this is your night, my friends. How are you feeling? Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
I'm feeling great. This is pretty unbelievable. All the, everyone that's working is doing this, and I'm going, wow. I just show up and it's all done. And I like, incredible.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to with this screening? And you are literally moments away from your premiere.
Be honest with you, I don't know. I do not know. Yeah. I'm looking for Eric to cry. That's what I'm looking for. Eric Welch. He cries a lot. He's our director.
Never going to happen. Never, ever happen.
Are you sure, Eric? Are you sure?
I don't cry. I cry when I read the script. That's it.
I think we might get some tears out of Eric. I don't know.
Yeah. Eric cries all the time. He tries to act mean, but he cries all the time.
So the energy is high, but we know the subject matter is going to take us on a roller coaster.
This, for me, is exciting because I have my parents, my mom here, my brothers and sisters, 2 of them, and so they're all here. So for me, that's great. That's the best.
So congratulations. Enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my God. Jessica, tonight's a huge night for you. Talk to us about all of this hustle and bustle.
The hustle and bustle. The actor life. It's a lot. I'm very lucky and blessed to even be here right now because not a lot of actors get this opportunity. I live in LA and I've been acting professionally for about 5 years now. And so I had a movie in theaters last year and I had one in theaters this year. So I'm just blessed. So I worked my butt off to get here, so yeah.
Let's talk about that because the audience knows a lot about Beautifully Broken, but I want to talk about Jessica. 5 years, 2 feature films. This is the $1 million question, how?
Hard work and doing something every single day to take myself to the next level. And most importantly, I write down my goals. And every 6 months, I check in on my goals, me and my friends. And I just then I set weekly goals to try and accomplish what the year goal is. So it's every single day, every single week, every single month, I'm working towards achieving these goals.
What we're big on here at Zakiya Larry Live is finding the why. So when trying to make it out, what was that thing inside of you at your core that was pushing you saying, I'm going to give this one more day?
Yeah, honestly, when I was 13 years old, I felt called to music, and just knowing that God was in the middle of all of that mess. And he's always in the middle of our messes, you know? We just don't have the right perspective yet. But when we make it out on the other side, we get the bird's eye view, and we go, okay, I see. You had the thing carved out the whole time.
Right.
But that was what was getting me through day after day. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. So you're driven by faith.
I am, yes, very much so.
Me too, friends.
I love it. Come
We've
on.
got the hair. We've got the faith.
I love it.
Oh
You're
my gosh,
awesome.
you are so awesome, Colton. Thank you so much for spending time with us
So
today.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Church of God in Christ is the largest African American denomination. As a matter of fact, I worked in faith-based PR for many, many, many years. So I understand the ups and downs and the ins and outs.
Absolutely.
All right. With that being said, you're so busy. How do you break away from the everyday of really managing hundreds and thousands of souls to even crossing over into helping millions of souls with being at a film premiere? How on earth do you even cross that chasm?
Yeah. You know, I think it's important that we remember why we exist. And so we exist not only to be confined to four walls and managing buildings and programs and even ministries, but remember we're called to a broader community, in fact, the world itself. And so I think we'll cease in being who we are supposed to be if we maintain just within our circle and our circumference. And so you have to be intentional. You have to be reminded that the world needs the church, and that's why we exist.
That's amazing. So, Lady Stephanie, when we talk about films and red carpet premieres, there may be some old school folks who say that ain't got nothing to do with church. How do we explain that to them? Now, by the way, I'm the granddaughter of a pastor. All right. And he's like, what are you doing?
Right,
And what? Come on now. Why do you understand?
Yes,
so
totally.
talk to us about how to, and I don't even say explain it to people, but how do you help people to understand how this matters and crosses over?
It matters because the gospel comes in all forms, shapes, and fashion, and this is a way of getting the gospel out. It's some people that will never, ever, for the most part, go to a church, quote-unquote, service, but they will come to the movie. And if they come to the movie and God pricks their heart and they get convicted and feel the love of God, then this is a way that we can also invite them into our church, even if it begins at the movies.
Just join the campaign and watching it and telling other people about the movie, you know, so.
Nicole, you hit so many nails on the head, and this film addresses all of those things, but also subjects that are hot topics in the media right now. When you were lending your voice and your beautiful anointing, did you ever have a moment that you were thinking, you know what, this is kind of current news and it's a little heavy, I'm not sure if I want to go full throttle? Did you ever have that moment?
When it came to this, no. Because really, honestly, because the gospel of Christ has always dealt with hot topics, you know, from women's issues to being liberated, to touching the untouchables, to inviting in those who have been marginalized. That's the gospel of Christ. And if we say we're followers of Jesus, then we do what he does. And so for me, it was just, this has been an easy one. This is an easy one to promote, hot topics and all, because it needs to be heard, it needs to be seen. And because of it, I believe it's going to bring about a good change.
Amazing voice, amazing career. Our show is all about the why. Tell me why you chose to be a part of this project and lend your, just brilliance.
I don't know about that. Well, thank you for saying that. I've known Chuck Howard for a long time. He came to me and asked if I would write a song for a movie called Beautifully Broken, and I said yes. And then they sent me what I think was a demo of a song kind of already in the works. And initially I didn't connect with that. I'm a storyteller and I have to tell things from a personal place or a true story that I know. And so I asked if I could sort of do some heart surgery on the song and make it personal to me. That's the way that it's going to come across more authentic. And they said, sure. And so I asked if there was a broken girl in the movie. They said yes, and I relate to that audience the most. And so I just wrote from the broken girl's perspective because that's who I am. Yeah. And they liked it, and they're using it, and that's awesome. But I was in the middle of making my own record and had not planned to put it on my own record. It was just kind of like a little, at the time it felt like an interruption almost, even though it was an honor. It was like, oh, we've got so much to do. And
kind of that one more thing.
Yeah.
You're appreciative, but it's like one more thing to do, right?
I don't know. Okay, we'll try to make it. So we took about 5 days total of trying to make that squeezed in. And when it was finished, I was like, you know what? I relate to this song. So whether this movie does amazing or not, whether this song does amazing or not, it's really connecting with me. And God's been really using it in my life. So I ended up putting it on the record and calling my record that, which is independent from the film, but I feel like that was kind of God's timing of saying, hey, I'm not finished with your record yet. I want you to connect with this. And so I did. And so it just has to be true for me. It can't be a forced like business thing. And it became that. And so I'm just grateful that it's a part of anything, whether it's on the radio or in a movie or in a video or whatever, that God can use it to tell people that no matter what you've done, no matter what's been done to you, you can truly be whole again because you belong to Him. And that alone is beautiful, but what He can do with your brokenness is amazing. And I think that even in this film, it tells that story of these 3 different lives, a true story that connects of how we can, we affect each other, but also how our brokenness can be used for good. And that's a positive thing.
Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Plum, and you're watching Zakiya Larry Live.
Don, back us up a little bit. So you have an incredible career, an incredible legacy. And speaking of legacy, Sean Berry, tell us, who is that?
My son, Sean Berry, lives out in Texas, East Texas, Longview, Tyler, Gladewater, actually is where he lives, in Gladewater. But he's got a brand new CD coming out called Wildfire, comes out in a couple of weeks. There's 7 songs on the record. He wrote all of them, 6 of them by himself. And he's just a talented guy. And so be looking for Sean Berry.
Well, and as a musician, did you see this coming? Did you see this early in Sean?
I saw it come in and I tried to deter him. I tried to get him to go in the Army, go do something.
Anything. Why is that?
Well, it's a tough road to hoe. I mean, it's a tough road. And it's very personal. Writing songs and singing is very personal. People say, well, it's just business. It's not, don't take it personal. No, it's personal. What do you mean you don't like the songs I wrote when I bared my soul and poured out my heart? Wow. So I tried to but my other kid, my younger one, he's our drummer.
They couldn't help it. They couldn't avoid it.
They couldn't help it. They couldn't help it, Daddy.
They couldn't help it, folks.
Yeah, they couldn't help it. They just in.
Okay, first of all, I'm already obsessed with the 2 of you guys together. So, question, how can a cinematographer be like camera shy? Like what's happening? Are you a little camera shy right now?
I operate the camera so I can stay behind the camera.
Exactly.
There's a method to the madness.
Exactly. There's a whole reason. It's like a force field.
And you're kind of tossing him in front of the camera. Tell us a little bit about
I'm not an on-camera guy either. I've got a face made for radio.
So this guy's won a couple of awards for best music videos and all kinds of awards. And he doesn't show up, so he doesn't have to worry about going on stage.
I am loving this whole entire moment.
So the truth is, we won a music video for Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
So we won. While Carrie Underwood is across town in Nashville receiving the award, we're shooting a video for Colton Dixon, who's here tonight too. Yeah, so like we're literally filming, he's on camera. I was pushing the dolly because I knew the song and the dolly grip was not getting the movement right, so I have to push the dolly. So he's on the dolly, I'm pushing the dolly, and then the client literally holds his phone up in front of my face while I'm pushing the dolly, showing that we just won a music video award for Carrie Underwood. And I'm like, dude, working. Move that thing out of here.
Move. Yeah. That is hilarious. So you've done so much. Obviously, Carrie Underwood, hello, an award there, but now Beautifully Broken.
Yeah, it's a whole different essence.
Connect the dots for us. Why?
Why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
What resonated with you?
I think somebody owed him money.
That's always my reason.
I lost a poker game, and so they said you have to direct a movie with 3 storylines.
What? Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
3 storylines.
The first time I read the script and read a story with 3 different storylines, I turned to him and I said, you have to cut one of these out because no one's going to be able to keep track of what's going on.
Oh my God.
But he's like, no, you have to have all of them. And he pushed it, and that's what we did. And I think it worked. It makes it totally different than anything else out there.
Well, it's not like Crash in terms of like there's multiple storylines happening, but how they all converge and how they all work together was really, because you're here talking to the director and the cinematographer. When people watch the film, we purposely did different things with the camera and the different storylines and the different color textures that we did. So that was something James and I talked about early on. It's like, how do we differentiate between the three storylines, you know? And a lot of that was through camera work. A lot of that was through his eye, and you know how the camera moves in Africa is very different than the structure and the solid feel of how the camera worked in America.
My job is to make sure there's enough coverage of the different emotions at all the angles. This guy not only directed it, but he also edited it, which is really where the final direction takes place. And he chooses the different angles and chooses how long to hold on the shots and all that. And that's really what makes the movie.
Wait, what? Okay, seriously, from recording artists and award winners to people who've overcome genocide and depression. I mean, we saw it all today, right here at the world premiere of Beautifully Broken in Nashville, Tennessee. And you can't ask for more. And I hope you saw yourself in some of these interviews, some of these stories, but especially in this film. And now, you know how I like to do it. It's time for your 1 minute elevate. Glitz and glamour. That's exciting. And a lot of people look for that. But at the end of the day, I encourage you to find your why. Why do you want the lights? Why do you want the cameras? Why do you want the action? Perhaps it's to tell a story of your own, to help other people to find the beauty in their brokenness. Start there, end up here. Thank you for watching. It's Zakiya Larry Live.
Zakiya Larry.